All right. Welcome to the Can I Borrow Your Car podcast. Public service announcement. It's one of my closest friends, dearest friends. I love her. I love her husband, Scott. He's that guy. I always tell her, hey,
Mhm.
say hi to my
Mhm.
guy.
Mhm.
She's freaking amazing. And this podcast, for the three people that listen to it, it's going to change your life.
That counts you, me, and my husband,
Scott.
Scott.
It's Scott. Basically, so Tina is one of the key people that I give credit to being in my life, being brought into my life by Christ to help me recover and move to a new level in my business. So I love you. You're spectacular.
Mutual.
You still don't charge enough, but that's your problem. So,
Yeah.
Tina, tell everybody a little bit more about you other than my over the top stuff.
The fact that I don't charge enough. Okay. So I'm going to change that. Yes. I believe, particularly for what we're going to talk about today with your book, Setting the Stage, is my background is sales like you. So that's something we share is the hard knocks of cold calling, non-solicitation. We don't
In
look at
person.
in
In
person
person.
in the heat of the day. I'm wearing high heels. You're wearing a tight shirt around your neck, trying to make a living. So we got a little smarter along the way, right? And then Ashley, I was in telecom for years, as you were in copiers for years. And then decided we'll jump forward, did a startup, raised money. That kind of busted because 9/11 happened. Then I decided I didn't want to do the big corporate global thing. And I want to do raise money and work for venture capitalists. So I accidentally got into the franchise business, another parallel with you with BNI, right?
Yep.
And that was in the peer group
Shared
space.
misery.
Yes, yes. And so it was, I loved the work, but it was very hard and painful and didn't, the ROI on it wasn't there. So the short story is I wanted to do my own for the industry to be better and have a model that those that are running groups for CEOs could actually make money, they own that business, et cetera. And one of the biggest differentiators is collaboration in our model. I learned that a long time ago. I suspect we'll probably get into that. And so now LX Council, it's a licensing model, and we teach people how to create and run successful peer groups. And we have white label option as well, and we're doing all kinds of other fun things with that. But that's what we do.
Yeah, and that kind of was the how we first met. Like,
Yes.
we both met at the Exit Plan Institute Summit out in Scottsdale. Was it Scottsdale, Phoenix, wherever we were at?
Yes. Yes.
It was really hot,
Very hot.
very hot,
No, it was very hot. That's not an understatement.
especially for me. But anyways, like when you look at it, the theme of today is that collaboration is the new, and I say in quotes,
Mhm.
competitive edge, specifically because of this. AI, no matter what you listener care, no matter how you feel about it, AI is going to impact buyer behavior. It already is. Google was your first indication. The camel's nose is not under the tent. It's running around all of the rings of the circus, right? And
Mm,
AI is there. So AI can only analyze. Only people can assemble trust. And that's what I want to talk about because both of our go to market models involve explicit and intentional collaboration of small business owners in the pursuit of both personal meaning, which
mhm,
is a big, having been a member of one of your groups, personal meaning
mhm,
is a big, big part of that, right?
mhm.
Um, Connection, valuing other human beings, right? But also in driving serious growth,
Mhm,
right? That collaboration can be just as powerful as any other form of marketing. So that's
mhm.
kind of where I wanted to go. Tina, collaboration, peer groups, like never happens, right? There's
No,
never any collaboration. Like, do you
no.
have kind of cool stories about how you've seen explicit types of collaboration powered by your system in producing amazing results?
Sure.
Pick one of the 100.
I know. I was like, well, that's our model. With it being the model, which I encourage everybody out there, obviously, to do what Mike's doing and my example of collaboration, because it's really 2 plus 2 is not 4, right? It's multiplied and exponential. I am a true believer it's the fastest way you get from A to B. And the other thing is I was always brought up that you always have plan B, right? So
Mhm.
I got plan A, you're in sales, you know the deal. It's called
Yes.
sandbagging, right?
Like, if you've only got one offering, you're toast.
Yes, yes. And it's kind of like, how much you bringing in this week? Well, I've got 5 deals I'm pretty sure I'm going to bring in, but I'm going to say I have 3, right? Because stuff happens and et cetera. So hence plan B, right? You got to have plan B. Well, I found out like early on, plan B was really the best plan A because plan B was always about collaborating. And it's
Mhm.
always that someone was going to help you get to where it was you're going to go, but it was truly a win win scenario. So, with like, for example, our model, collaborating shows up as in our strategic partner concept. So, one of the reasons, right, that our licensed partners launch quickly, more so than anyone else. When I say quickly, like within 120 days or less, and why they do so successfully is through this collaboration thought of strategic partnering. And it's actually how you and I ended up together. Right. And so, and
It worked out for us.
yeah, yeah. And it was not on the radar when we got introduced to each other at all.
I was just
Right.
there to help.
Yes. Yeah. And that was it. It was just through a conversation and right getting to know each other. And that was all. It was just, we didn't have any, right, like what I call real intention about we were trying to get to a certain point or sell each other on something. And that wasn't it. And it was that genuine conversation that I could understand what you really do so that in the conversation of how could we serve one of our common clients, Exit Planning Institute, we were able to put together a much more robust, right, offering, lack of a better word, than they expected. Because I don't know if you can remember Scott Snyder when he got what we sent him,
Oh, yeah.
right? He was like, whoa, this is okay. Like,
Uh-huh. Like there's some reasons why people that have had professional sales training tend to collaborate well, and that would be a great example of one,
mm, mm-hmm,
right?
yes,
Like
yeah,
you were at telecom, I was in copiers. I always like I figured out, thankfully, thanks some good mentors, right?
yeah,
I realized that to a great extent, my client's ability to purchase what I was doing was really dependent upon a whole bunch of other stuff, and especially telecom, because I was selling copiers right when digital hit and we started networking. And all of a
mm,
sudden, like, they're not loose collaborators, but like the telecom connectivity,
mm-hmm,
internet stuff was critical. The
yep,
computer networking, yes, cable, like
mm-hmm,
all this, all of a sudden, I had a much more complicated sale than ever before,
mm-hmm,
and, the choice was either to have that complexity slow it down or speed it up.
beat it up.
And the only way you speed it up is to collaborate on purpose explicitly through kind of a giving or at least a joint benefit mindset.
Mm-hmm,
I mean,
absolutely.
and when I think about LX Council and I think about being a member of a group and having the privilege of knowing a bunch of your licensed partners and collaborating with many of them, I have
Mm-hmm,
talked to Tim Rohde and Larry
mm-hmm,
Prince already today.
mm-hmm. Oh, how funny.
Well, I mean, they're like, they get it.
Mm-hmm,
They get it. They live
mm-hmm,
it, right? And,
mm-hmm,
they're really some of my most powerful, not mentors, but friends. Like,
yeah,
the stuff we did on that boat in St. Pete, me
mm-hmm,
and Larry and
mm-hmm,
Tim, we're still experiencing benefit from to this day,
yeah,
right?
yep,
So long story
yeah,
short, when you think about how, because there's many reasons I value you, but like you train people on collaboration.
mm-hmm. It's one of our
Like,
core values, actually.
correct, but
Yeah.
it's not passive. You're
Mm-mm.
I've been through the
Correct.
process. It's not passive. So when you look at how important would you say it is to have explicit roles, agreements, and expectations when either refining current collaboration that a listener might have, or looking to create new avenues of collaboration. How important do you see that? When I say explicit, I don't mean profane, but
Mhm.
how
Mhm.
important is that in your view?
Very. And let's let's distinguish that for a second. So you can have informal and very formal,
Mhm,
right? But it's still informal is not as casual as it might appear or should be, right? And because that goes back to what will happen based based even on your book, like it's there's going to be a wreck, right? If you don't have expectations clearly defined and those expectations, as I'm sure you've talked about a million times and your listeners have heard, is everything from how you're going to refer, how you're going to work together, how you're going to treat each other's clients, everything. How is the communication going to be between you? Like detail,
mhm.
absolute detail, right? Now, if that's just verbal and you know you've got a good understanding, great. If you feel like you have to put those guidelines in a sheet of paper because this involves like multiple people, particularly if it's a team that's working together, you probably should put that in writing because somebody's not going to hear correctly. But it just ensures that everything goes well and that there's no misunderstandings because the misunderstanding will always impact the client less, right? And you got to protect that. So I think it's very important. We teach that with our strategic partner concept. There's an agreement. It's not onerous. It's not litigious. It's not anything like that. But it sets the tone that I take the relationship seriously. And I think it's the other piece because when you have the conversation, it shows that you take it seriously and you're thoughtful and methodical about your approach versus treating it, what, willy nilly, you know? I
Mhm.
don't think I've said that in forever, willy nilly.
It's
Where did
alright.
that come from? It's
You
probably
don't
dating.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally. The fact that I understood immediately what you're saying,
Yeah, it's true. So, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. I think it's very important.
it's so interesting. So I was a victim of a car wreck earlier this week.
Oh, no.
So I was the car that
You were
got
the victim.
I was the
No.
car that got scratched up. Um, and, like, luckily, I run my own system, so I was I called the tow truck and, like, you know, but, like, the it was a
Ugh,
newer introduction from a seasoned referral partner, and it pointed out to me what you said, there are gonna be car wrecks. Like, when I analyze from my perspective, because it was just supposed to be a strategic introduction, not a sales
mm,
appointment,
uh,
but it turned into a hardcore sales appointment.
that you were getting sold.
I was getting sold, right? But, like, it was because the person's so passionate,
I get it.
right? And when people are passionate and maybe
Still not still.
yeah, I communicated, but, like, the insurance card, like, what do you do when there's an accident? Like,
Mhm,
one of the reasons that I think this explicit model that you and I are talking about with the context is slightly different, but
mhm,
not,
mhm,
it's like, well, okay, well, turn on your hazards, pull out your insurance card. Do we need to call ambulance or like what's the
mhm,
situation? And then it becomes a communication thing because
mhm,
when I was talking with the person that referred this person to me, explained what happened, and they were like, "Hey, I'm so sorry that happened. What do you want to do?" Perfect. And I said, I'm not offended or upset. I just was very uncomfortable. And I went from thinking about introducing this person to someone to having zero interest in doing it
no
at
way.
this point.
Yeah.
Right. And so it was really productive. And so what I wanted to say, we said only people can assemble trust. The reason that I strongly advocate for very specific verbal conversations when it's one on one,
Mhm,
and whenever organizations are doing this, more written stuff is not to prevent accidents, even though the percentage will go down.
mhm,
It's really to establish trust in how we handle problems,
mm,
right? Because
mhm,
referrals work. So you're going to get results. The speed you get at results is going to be dependent upon a bunch of different variables. But ideally, not ideally, like no long-standing collaborative relationship that I have hasn't had some hiccups.
yeah,
And how those hiccups were handled
mhm,
for a long-standing relationship always increase the velocity of future business.
yes,
Always. And so
yeah,
I wanted to share that. So can we talk a little bit about getting the right team of collaborators?
Yeah.
This is something
Mhm.
you have a lot of experience of all different kinds with.
Yes.
So like top level, you're influencing dozens upon dozens of other professionals in this particular area through your work with LX Council and
Mhm.
your great books, right?
Yeah.
You're influencing hundreds of people. What are some like high level guidance you can give to people listening to the podcast on how to assemble kind of your dream team of
Mm.
collaborators?
Yeah. I am going to start with the intangible is what I'm gonna call it. It's the fuzzy, it's the warm and fuzzy stuff. So, I say that because this is usually particularly those of us that are sales professionals in our blood, we love to be sold, like, the right way, right? It's just like and
It's
then
it's
right?
wonderful.
We're right, gullible, and it's like, so you have to be very careful, first of all. So this is not to be over dramatic, as you gotta treat it kinda like these are my partners. Like this is my life partner. I'm making a choice on, you know, marriage and I'm hooking my wagon here. And but if you think about it, that's the seriousness of it. It's not casual. So I
Mhm.
think people take it too casually, too trusting. You know, we've heard just in the program we're doing with API, the Accelerator program, about how you can't trust and make assumptions, right? About somebody's background, their credibility, that they've got your back and all of that, right? And
Their intelligence.
right there, exactly. So so it starts with first, there's going to be a gut feeling like this person, it's all about integrity,
Mhm.
right? It's about the abundant mindset. It's about that they're true connectors and will always work through a win-win. And that's what I look for first and look for indications of those things, right? Aside from, you're always going to look for, are they good in what they do, et
Mhm.
cetera, and they have that area of expertise. But your point earlier, I think, is needs to be underlined, which is stuff's going to happen and it not intentionally, right? Just something will and it's not foreseen. And it's all about how that person's going to handle it and how, and assuming you're going to handle it very well as well, right? But you got to have a team that's got your back and they don't make assumptions without great communication with you, right? So it's, it's very telling when things get tough how people react, right? And it's you,
Yeah.
especially when there's money on the line because there's clients. So when there's clients and there's money on the line, you know, it's kind of sometimes true colors come out.
Yeah,
And
shit gets real.
yeah, and it's more about they have to have that versus the client. And so you just, all of that has to be so vetted on the front end. You just can't jump, I hate to say this, jump into bed, right? Right away. There's got to be some dating. Got to do
Yeah,
some dating, right?
one of my jokes is, wear clothes to the first date so they open the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the other analogy with the "Can I borrow your car" is this, is like, I can only think of limited, extremely limited times where the first introduction that you get from a collaborator with a referral partner is the nicest car in the garage. That
Mhm.
almost like, and with ideal collaborators, that never happens. They are
Mhm.
never, ever, and you shouldn't expect it. They're never saying, "Hey, wanna drive the Lambo?" first time you visit,
Mhm.
right? And it's
Mhm.
you're usually not invited to the garage. You meet them at a McDonald's parking lot, and they've
Mhm.
got a Mustang, and they're
Right.
like, yeah, right, like, because,
Yeah.
like, the location of the garage is important too, and so,
Mhm.
like, I love what you said there. Let's talk about a little bit about AI. This is something that you and I talk about frequently.
Mhm.
It's something that we talk about with our joint clients and also our larger combined network. We covered this a little bit earlier, but I want to dig into it a little bit on the podcast. I really believe that collaboration, excuse me, is the competitive edge because whether people like it or not, your buyers are going to be influenced by AI,
Mhm.
and it's already occurring. And we have never had like right now, the trust numbers, like what level of trust is assigned to AI, to a certain extent is unsustainable. So I think it's going to come down. But right now, AI, when you do research with buyers, AI is the most trusted thing in the world, which is
Mhm.
not surprising, but kind of terrifying
True.
because AI just analyzes stuff that it's been fed. It doesn't create anything.
Mhm.
So let's talk about how this is going to work. And I'm just going to
Mhm.
sketch it out for you. And then I want to talk about cutting in line and talk
Mhm.
about how being part of a mastermind group, a peer
Mhm.
group, is another way of cutting in line
Mhm.
on at both a business development, but also strategic mindset, right? Like your first reflex shouldn't be to go to AI for strategy. It should be to go to your peers,
Oh. Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
here's the deal. If we are gonna be passive in the sales process, and I'm not talking about you and I, because
No,
we
I
are
know. Not.
not.
Yes.
I'm passive about eating too many calories. But,
Mhm.
so, like, if a business owner or a salesperson listening to this is gonna be passive in the sales process, AI is gonna determine, based upon its criteria, where you rank. Like, when prospective clients ask questions in their buying process,
Mhm.
which already has been like, if they don't know who you are and they haven't already decided they trust you before they go to AI, you're a complete victim of all the work you've done. And
Mhm.
Tina and I talked about this, but like we've written multiple books. We've been on lots and lots of podcasts. We've written tons of articles. AI treats you and I well where we want to be treated well. However, we're not going to rely upon it. So let's talk about cutting in line. How do you cut in line? AI has two big impacts. AI has massive strategic impact because more and more business owners are going to AI as a cheap diet peer group. Like they're asking AI questions that I would argue they should be asking trusted human
Mhm.
relationships.
Yep.
That's one of the ways that you need to cut in line intentionally as a business owner right now or as a consultant. You need to make sure that you are not going to AI first, that you're going to trusted sources. The other way is in marketing. And the future of marketing is not waiting for someone else to tell you who the client could be. It's identifying who they are by name, and it's figuring out how to get in contact with them. This is a conversation you and I've had many times that comes from being outside salespeople. Like my job, and I know yours was, you have
Mhm.
to know your territory. Like you were
Mhm.
assigned a particular territory. My job was to know all of the prospective buyers for the copiers and faxes in my territory. And
Mhm.
I had to be ready at any moment with the sales manager.
Hey.
God help me if he figured out a new prospect in my territory before I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts about that whole cutting in line concept, both from a strategic growth as a leader, which you have amazing insight in, but also as a salesperson?
Yeah. I think there it makes me think of 2 things, 2 totally separate things, and one is we have, a call earlier this week with everybody in our community, and, one of the conversations we have is, "Will AI replace the whole peer group model?" Answer is "No," and it will enhance it and not
Period.
replace it, and the reason for that is back to the whole premise of, Harry Truman. So, grew up in Missouri, so Harry Truman, president out of Kansas City, said, "You're gonna" it's in essence that your education really is more from your people and versus your book. So, learning from a book is one thing, but learning from others is essence, like, more accurate in many ways because it's real life experience, right? And so we just released like 2 AI bots, lack of a better word, in regards to helping the CEOs get clarity around what their biggest challenges, opportunities, problems, or ideas are. The hard work that they need to use AI for is really as a thought leader. right? S- So that is the my 2 words right now for everybody. It's a thought leader, thought leader. It's to help you. It's not to replace, right, your own thought process. And so,
You can't hear this, but I'm, like,
yeah,
gesticulating and
it's like
amplifying. Hell yeah.
high five. Hi, there we go. Amen. Right there we go. So it's is the hardest part from us CEOs is just getting clarity around, wait, I know this isn't right, but how do I articulate this? How do I do it in such a fashion I can get help? And AI can help you as if somebody's sitting across the table, kind of asking you some clarifying questions to get to the place that you're ready because you need your collaborative team, et cetera, to help you like finesse that and come up with like the right, solutions for you. So you definitely AI is to enhance that, but it can never be that person because there's not that personal experience behind it that other
100%.
business owners go through.
Yeah. How about
Yeah.
from a salesperson's perspective, this whole cutting in line concept of getting ahead of
Yeah.
AI as opposed to being behind it?
I know. And so it's interesting,
Because
when you look
all your licensees, all your
have to
licensed
sell.
partners have to sell.
They have to sell. Absolutely. So it's amazing tool, right, for getting prepared for your appointment. It's an amazing tool to help you identify what you don't know, but you still have to verify it. And what I mean by that is, do you have the right person? It can identify that missing prospect that you might not know about in your territory. Um, it can uncover those kinds so research tool, great research tool for that. It can analyze your call so you can be a better salesperson, and which is amazing if you've got the right prompts and everything for that, and
Mhm.
will tell you like you messed up or you did that great or you need to do that last time. So it can play sales manager role to some degree, right? Um, but the key, I think, what you're getting at that I'm a huge advocate for, which is what AI cannot do, right, is cut you to the front of the line through collaboration, right?
Yes.
And in today's world, and you talk to any marketing firm or you talk to anybody else that's doing anything as far as trying to conjure prospects, the number keeps growing, literally. So it was I at the beginning of this year, the number was 19 to 20. That it's the number of times a prospect has done something action-wise to research before they actually call to talk
Yes.
to you. They are consuming 19 to 20 types of things, whether it's an email, whether it's, they're searching, they're clicking on links, they've seen your post, whatever it might be, but it is now over 30.
It's just gonna
And
grow.
yeah, it's only going to grow because I attribute it to AI as making that the case. Because what happens is now you get more data when you are researching and getting educated, which leads you down more different paths, more things than you ever had because now you have access to that. So, collaboration cuts ahead of all of it. And collaboration cuts you to your prospect at the moment they want to talk to you most of the time, because that's why,
Mhm.
like, there was the collaboration. And so you get to the front of the line. Now it's up to you to stay there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But AI is the tool. Yeah.
That well, and
Collaboration will never. Yeah.
well, and ironically, and we're getting close to we can see the tarmac, like, because 'cause we're gonna
Okay.
land the plane pretty
Yeah.
soon. But, like, ironically, collaboration is just as powerful through the rest of the sales process after AI. Because, like, if you're working with a close team, and I'm actively doing this with all of my referral partners, you being a great
Yeah.
example, is how can we make sure that we're aligned pre-AI and
Mhm.
post-AI? How can we
Mhm.
because the challenge is, and I encourage everyone to do this, I did it again today. I wanted to know if I was a world-leading authority on marketing for professional advisors? And the answer was no. Nothing, unfortunately, nothing had changed. However, I say, okay, well, how does Mike Garrison rank? I was trying
Mhm.
not to, like, because I'd asked, am I in the top
Mhm.
10? I want to
Mhm.
be in the top 10.
Mhm.
And it said, Mike Garrison, without a doubt, is nationally regarded as one of the foremost experts on referral marketing and exit planning,
There you
period.
go.
And like,
Okay.
And why is that? Well, I am kinda good at what I do, but I'm really good at being around the right people, right? And it doesn't, not sycophant way, but like when you're able to assemble, you being a great example, when you're able to assemble high quality team that is also
Mhm,
running a professional sales process that is creating content. Like,
mhm,
our relationship's powerful because we're both very AI forward right
mhm.
now. We're right there at the tip of the sphere. The challenge is, one of the things people don't look at with collaboration is how much friction is there in the handoffs, right?
Mhm.
And so if you have a partner in your relationship stack that you know you need to bring in, but they don't show up at all on AI, all of a sudden you're carrying all the
All the
walls
weight.
and all the risk,
Yep.
right? And you have to expend so much social capital with a client. Like, hey, I looked them up. They don't even have a website.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the things that when people wanted 10x referral production, when they want to 10x the results of collaboration, you still got to do the work.
Mhm,
Like, if you want to get the real value of one of your LX council groups,
mhm.
right? As a participant,
You
you
gotta
gotta
do
be
the work.
all in, well, you have to be all in on the process. You have to
Yeah.
do everything that your facilitator is helping you do. I mean, otherwise, you're just passive, and I guess that's where I wanted to end this. Can you, from an aspirational, because you've definitely got that, like, from an aspirational viewpoint, can you encourage someone that's still listening, and I think they will be, can you just encourage them that they don't have to get it right and just kinda send them with some, like, "This is what I want you to do to be more successful, to collaborate," from Tina's.
Got it. There's someone that you and I both know, Marcus Ogden, okay?
Dude, pretty inspirational dude,
Yeah, he
and
is.
and a large human being.
Yes, yeah, hence former NFL football player.
Yes.
So he has a podcast about authenticity, and he has a talk about authenticity, and that's what comes to mind, first of all, is being authentic. So you have to be authentic in order to have a true collaborative relationship because you have to get to know the other person really well, but you yourself have to be authentic from what you expect, what you stand for, how you create your client experience, like all of those things. And so I think it's I would encourage everybody is to don't feel like you have to be someone else. You are you, be you. And you know that because you talk about how on your posts are very personal and authentic to you. And
Mhm,
that when you did your one post about your son, well, you've done a couple, but in particularly when you let the world know about your son
mhm.
and you talked about how that just opened up your universe, right? And
Oh, yeah.
it's the same. So it's not saying reveal TMI. That's not the point, right?
Please don't.
Yes, exactly. But it's back to being authentic. And I'm back to quality over quantity. You're much better going deep with someone because that's going to create really more top of mind all the time. Your true collaboration that will be really meaningful for you more so than across the surface where I know that you and I work with people that constantly think they have to have, you know, like tons of centers of influence. And no,
It
you don't.
it's freaking insane.
Right? Yeah. And yeah, and the quality of the relationship. You can have just one, like, really high quality relationship. I mean, that's how I had one high quality relationship when I started my franchise. I didn't even know and had never been in the territory I chose.
Yeah, you were in,
I
like,
lived close to it. I
it
never been there because
it
I was always on a plane. I was working for a global company. And so when they said pick your territory, I'm like, I don't know, but the numbers look good over here. And but it was the one collaborative relationship that I went deep on, and as a result, I was their fastest, most successful launch because of that relationship. That continued and still continues today. And I look at like what you and I are doing. So quality over quantity. Steve Jobs said, one home run is better than two doubles. So that's what I
that
live with.
it's so interesting. Just to just to reframe that a little bit in the "Can I borrow your car" terminology,
Mhm.
gratuitous plug, um, it's my podcast.
Yes, it is.
Like, what people don't understand is that the most valuable introductions, if you're running a real professional process, the most valuable introductions are the meetings with ideal prospects when they're not buying.
Mhm.
Like, those are the most valuable.
Mhm.
They're also the most challenging meetings to get because they're not buying.
Mhm.
So, ironically, if you spread yourself so thin with, I would argue they're not COIs, but you've got these 15 people you're trying to get you to
Mhm.
give those introductions, none of those people have the confidence in you.
Mm.
Versus, like, if you told me about somebody you wanted to meet and I knew
Mhm.
them, I would tell them they had to freaking meet you because I said so.
Mhm.
Like,
And that's
I
because of the relationship of
literally,
the
I'd say, "Look,
yeah,
I don't care if you're
both
in."
ways. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like, "I don't care if you're one of those crappy other groups. If you love it, wonderful. You still need to meet Tina because she is one of my best friends. She's amazing." And people don't understand is that relationship is where
Mhm.
everything scales.
Mhm.
You
Yep.
s like, those deep relationships can all of a sudden create 30 top of the funnel prospects for you. My friends, listen, Tina and I would have killed back in the day to have what we have now through AI
Mhm.
when we
Mhm.
were managing territories, and we would
Mhm.
probably be retired, living on an island, and never sharing any of this with all of you,
Yeah.
right? But at the end of the day, it really is about going deeper because that's where the scaling happens. I've got some
Mhm.
cool stuff coming down the pike about disciple making.
Okay.
Yeah, it's coming down the
Yeah.
pike. It's gonna be really cool. Tina, where can people find more about you?
Easy. Website. So website is L as in like, X as in X-ray, and then council, council.com. So yeah,
Yeah,
go there.
and people, you need to get on LinkedIn, and you need to follow her and LX Council because
Thank you.
well, I mean, you're very
Mm.
welcome. I watch your stuff every day. I don't like all of it because, unfortunately, no matter how much I love you, LinkedIn doesn't love any of us, so it doesn't show us everything. Like like, and I get it. So,
It's so true.
last question for you. You ready? Is there anything we missed when you think about collaboration that you wanna add?
I will tell you what immediately came to mind when you started that sentence of, "Let's end it on a da 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 da," is I think some people think they can do it alone,
Ooh,
but I will tell you collaborating is way more fun, and we're back to that's where you're gonna get your exponential growth. You're not gonna get it on it by yourself. So
100%.
it's worth the effort. It is worth the effort. It does not happen overnight. And that's probably the other issue is people go out there and go, "Oh my gosh, I need to collaborate and synergize," and they try to rush it. We're
Mhm.
back to you're not getting married, you have to date, takes time, but it's worth it. But start
Yeah,
now. It's never too late. Start now.
that's awesome. Well, my friend, thank you. It was an
Thank
honor to
you.
have you on the podcast.
Honored to be here, as always. Okay.